Greetings and welcome to another episode of SPCA Stories. Hope you are all doing well. If you're new to us, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Dawn Fenton, SPCA Monterey County Content and Education Manager. We are coming to you from the SPCA Monterey County Claire Jacobson Learning Center in beautiful Salinas, California. My guests this time are Abigail Shaw and Destinee Lopez. Abby and Destinee are the coordinators of our Foster Friends program here at SPCA Monterey County. They manage and coordinate our foster volunteers who prepare underage or injured pets for their permanent and loving homes. Fostering provides an invaluable service for the animals in our care who are not yet ready for adoption, for a variety of reasons. The Foster Friends volunteer experience is rewarding for both animal and foster parent alike, and both Abby and Destinee lead them through the process. They are a terrific team and do an impeccable job working with and placing the most delicate pets in our care with loving volunteers. You can learn more about our Foster Friends program at spcamc.org/foster. We hope you enjoy this episode. So hello, Abby and Destinee.
Hello.
How are you guys today?
Doing well.
Good. Well, thank you for coming. Welcome to SPCA Stories. So I'm excited to have you guys here. So Destinee and Abby have very important jobs here at the SPCA. But first, Abby, we'll start with you. So tell me your title.
So I'm the lead foster and transfer coordinator.
Okay. How long have you been working here?
I think it's been a little over 8 years now.
Wow. And so you didn't start out in this role, or did you?
No, I was hired as an animal care tech. And then I got moved over to foster coordinator. And at the time, there was just the one. So I was kind of splitting it between that and animal care. Then it became a full-time position and then took on a second coordinator. So I've been in this position now for probably 6 years or so.
Wow. Same question for you, Destinee. What's your title and how long have you been here?
I'm foster and transfer coordinator as well, and I'm going on 6 years in a couple months.
And you've started also in multiple roles, right?
Yeah, so I've had my fair share in different departments. I've done a little bit of customer service, a little bit of animal care, health evaluator, clinic, and foster as well.
Okay, so you're both very well-rounded. It's so funny when I interview people, all these people that I've been working with for so long, and it's just so funny to me and so interesting that everybody kind of has started in different places and have moved around, and especially people with longevity. I mean, we've got 8 years and 6 years. It's obvious you love being here and you love the animals. So thank you for that. And one of the things I like to do when I interview our team is I like to give a compliment. And I just want to say that both of you seem like, you don't seem like you are, or maybe, yeah, you seem like a really well-oiled team. Like you communicate well and you're able to work together and things just are seamless. Just from what I've witnessed, it looks like you have a good time working together. And obviously you guys are a great team. Before we jump into fostering, when you go to a party and you meet somebody for the first time, how do you describe what you do?
I think that if people ask me what I do for work, it's definitely centered around animal care and taking care of every age group. But I primarily like to focus on neonates and adult dogs, for example. So lots of love, TLC.
What response do you get from people when you tell them what you do? What do people say to you?
Oh, you're so lucky to work with animals. Yeah.
And Abby, same thing. I mean, how would you describe what you do here at the SPCA to someone new?
Yeah, I usually mention the foster name. We send animals out to foster homes while they're waiting for adoption. When I use the word neonates, people are like, what? What do you mean? But yeah, talk about bottle babies and kittens, puppies, and now our newer doggy day out program. So yeah, I definitely get a lot of like, you're so lucky you get to play with animals all the time. And we're like, yeah.
Well, and obviously we know that we get to see cute animals all the time, but it's a little more than that. So jumping into that, I mean, define what is fostering? What is it here at the SPCA?
So fostering is when someone gives their time and a space in their home to take care of either a puppy, kitten, dog, or cat for a temporary amount of time until they're ready for adoption. So it's usually a temporary basis. It can be anywhere from a week to a couple months, depending on what that animal's need is. So yeah, just giving your time and care and love, and we provide all the supplies.
So it's pretty important what our foster volunteers do. So yeah, what types of pets? I know you mentioned a few, but what kinds of situations what kinds of animals need that fostering?
We definitely have a wide variety. I think a lot of times people think fostering and they automatically assume like really young ones or really long-term commitments, but the program is so fluid. We do work with bottle babies, which is, young ones without a mom that need kind of that round-the-clock care the first couple of weeks. But we also work with kittens and puppies that are independent but just need a little bit more time to grow until they're old enough for spay and neuter. And then adult dogs, adult cats, medical cases, behavior cases. So, we kind of just like to work with our volunteers and see what is best suited for their household.
So walk me through what a day is like in your world.
There's a lot of moving parts sometimes, and it depends on the time of year. So summer, spring, that's our really busy time. So we're managing multiple appointments, whether they're orientations for newcomers or booster appointments for existing fosters that need vaccines. Scheduling our spay-neuter surgery schedule for our fosters, so having drop-offs and pickups, and so that time of year is definitely the busiest, and it's all of those things continue all year long, but usually winter's a little bit slower. We also now have Doggy Day Out, which is a newer program in the last year, so our mornings usually consist of sending out dogs for Doggy Day Out outings.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that. We'll get back to fostering, but I want to hear about Doggy Day Out too.
Sure. So Doggy Day Out is a short-term option for the adult available for adoption dogs that we have on site. It is a nice way for people who don't have pets in their household but want their dog fix, or maybe they cannot commit to adopting, or maybe they're in the process of looking but can't fully, decide just yet, and they want to warm up to it and kind of like dip their toe into what it is to care for an adult dog. So they have that opportunity to basically go on a date with one of our shelter dogs.
How many do we have? How many foster families do we have, or foster people?
I just pulled a report on that, actually. So we have 114, give or take, active foster volunteers right now. But that does fluctuate, throughout the year. People will come back and say, hey, I'm ready to start up again. Or maybe we'll get a lot of new people that onboard in spring or summer when they have more time for it.
Mm-hmm.
So the number changes. And then as far as active Doggy Day Out and pajama party fosters, that's 262 more people that we can tap into.
Wow, that's a lot. And they're important. I said it earlier. These volunteers are very important to our animals and our needs. So how does one become a foster volunteer?
To become a foster, you can either apply online on our website, and both Destinee and I receive those applications. So as soon as we receive them, we review them, and then we communicate over email, send them an online orientation. And then after that, once they confirm they've done that, then we set up an in-person appointment where we go over things a little more in depth and have them sign some paperwork. So we try to make it as quick as possible so that, especially during the summer when we have a big need, we want to get them started as quickly as we can. People can also sign up in person as well. If they're visiting the shelter and they learn about it here, they can sign up right then and there. We have paper applications. Usually between the two of us, one of us is always here. So if anyone ever wants to inquire with us in person, they can do that too. So it's pretty easy to join online or in person. And then once we meet with them and get them in the system, then after that, they're ready to get started.
So what kind of training is involved in the process during the application process?
Yeah, so we try to make the application process and getting started as low barrier as possible, just to make it easy for people to get started. The orientation itself that we send through email, the online version, is just a breakdown of the program and what it entails, so they have an idea of what they're signing up for. And then they do an in-person orientation that covers all of the ins and outs of fostering in more detail. And then if they decide that they want to sign up for something that might be a little bit more challenging without experience, like bottle feeding, then we can offer like demonstrations on the first time that they pick up if they feel confident giving it a try. We also have demonstration videos that we can share with them. So there's different options. Everybody's comfort level is different, so we try to adapt to them as well.
What would you say is the most difficult thing for a foster, or multiple difficulties that come up?
I think probably one of the hardest things is saying goodbye when they're done fostering, bringing the animal back, especially if it was a single animal. They're spending so much one-on-one time with this animal and getting to know them, and they're getting used to you and your household. And sometimes they're like such a great fit for their house, but they weren't going into it intending on adopting. But we always just try to tell people that the more you can say goodbye, the more you can foster and help more animals. So that's always a hard part for, especially when they've just started fostering, getting used to bringing the animal back and having to say goodbye at the end.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. I was like, how do you coach people through, or, how do you talk them through the whole getting attached aspect of it? Because I know I would.
I definitely think fostering is such a hard thing in terms of like attachment, just because like Abby mentioned, they are spending so much one-on-one time and kind of nursing those pets in certain cases back to health. So you have an established bond that's really hard to break and just say, okay, well, goodbye now. So one thing that we try to do that will help with that is we have notes in all of our foster profiles, so adopters can, or our adoption counselors can take a picture of the adopter with their pet if they feel comfortable, and we share that with the foster so they have that peace of mind.
That's nice. And it also, I can imagine that it gives that foster a sense of closure, for lack of a better word. Sort of like, okay, well, I did my part, and now this lovely cat or dog is in a brand new home, and they're going to have a wonderful life. So that's got to be really fulfilling. So do you hear people say that a lot? Our volunteers?
Yeah, the work that they do is definitely fulfilling, especially, if you're working with animals that are maybe really shy, when you get to know them and see their personality blossom through their hard work, or same thing with caring for young ones that, potentially wouldn't have made it without those fosters stepping in.
I've alluded to this several times, but I want to hear from you guys. Why is why is there such a need? Why is it important?
It truly helps the animal become more adoptable. They're, instead of just sitting in a kennel waiting to be either old enough for adoption or healthy enough for adoption, they're getting to experience a home setting and get to know, sometimes, depending on how that dynamic is in the home, sometimes they're meeting adults, sometimes they're meeting kids, sometimes there's other pets in the home. So they're getting socialized with people of different ages, sometimes even other animals if the foster's comfortable introducing them. So they're getting all this socialization, especially the young ones that are in that crucial socialization period. They're getting all of that without just, sitting in a kennel, seeing us day. They see us every day, but they're not getting as much handling as they will in a foster home. They're getting trained on like potty training and, like Destinee said, the shy ones, like they really start to blossom in foster. So all of those things just kind of help build a better pet.
So you guys have a lot of years working here. What have you learned from working here or working in fostering specifically? Is there anything you would want people to know about what you do? What have you learned?
I think that it definitely is the type of job where you have to be very understanding and compassionate, not just towards the animals that we're handling, but also the volunteers that we work with as well. Fostering is such a rewarding experience and program, but it also does have its highs and lows, especially people who, encounter loss, which is something that does come up in fostering when you're working with, really young ones or maybe senior animals as well. So being compassionate, giving them, empathy and grace and breaks when they need it, and just trying to be as supportive as possible towards their experience, but also supportive in any way that we can help them care for those animals or make their foster period as easy as possible.
What's your favorite thing about what you do?
I've always had like a soft spot for the neonates, I think. They're one of the harder ones to place because there's such a round-the-clock care category that we need someone that is willing to bottle feed overnight. So they're always a challenge for us as coordinators, especially when they show up at the end of the day when we're trying to go home because they need placement right away and they can't be here overnight. But seeing them start off so young without mom and then make it to adoption, they're one of the longer, they stay in foster pretty long. So watching them go through all that growth, I've always liked working with the bottle baby puppies and kittens.
That's great. How about you?
Yeah, I think we have good balance too, because I love bottle babies too, but my, heartstrings are pulled by our adult dogs and our adult cats, and trying to focus on, programs like Dog a Day Out where they get the necessary exercise, mental and physical, during their time here as well, because it's not always easy to find someone who can foster an adult rambunctious dog.
If you could change one thing about what you do, what would it be?
If we just had an endless supply of volunteers who could just, always, take in the bottle babies or adult dogs, or maybe more challenging. Yeah.
There really would be no hard part to our scheduling aspect of our job if we had an endless amount of foster availability. And, if every time we have something that needs a foster, if we just had someone we knew could come right then and there, that would be the dream.
So we always need help. So what do you do when it's 5 or 4:45 or 4:50 and a mama and baby kitten, teeny tinies comes in? What happens?
There's been times where Abby or I had to take home animals that couldn't stay. We don't have 24-hour staff here, so somebody is going to have to make that commitment overnight until we can find foster placement for the following day. Or we have our rock star foster, Autumn, who lives close by, that we've, counted on time after time. So we're so grateful to her, and it's ever changing, but we make it work as best as we can.
What advice do you have? What advice would you give someone who's interested in animal welfare, and maybe what you guys do specifically?
I think one piece of advice would be to, depending on where they're at, maybe start volunteering at a local shelter or even a vet clinic, seeing what type of volunteer positions are open, or even part-time entry-level type positions. Kind of get your feet wet and see how this world operates. And then if it's a good fit, then just, continuing to try for more full-time positions. And places like shelter, especially even this one, things are always changing. People come and go. So positions tend to open up all the time, especially for animal care and customer care. And that's a good way to get started. It's how both of us got started with, she got started as customer care, I got started as animal care. So, and then just kind of work your way to the position.
Find your little corner of the the organization. Anything else, Destinee?
That's what I was going to suggest, the same thing too. I was going to school when I started working here, and I fell in love with it, and here I am 6 years later. But before coming here, I just had basic knowledge of caring for my own pets or maybe house sitting, but I learned everything that I know now just from working around in different departments in the shelter. So I think that's what I would recommend to someone who also wants to be a part of animal welfare.
I feel sometimes that it kind of finds you. You know, being a part of an organization like this, it sort of finds you. So, I mean, I have a degree in acting and directing. I have my master's. That's what I have my master's in. And I just also happen to love animals and was looking for a change. And this community outreach coordinator job popped up. So, yeah, it's interesting. I think it finds you. So, is there a question that you wish I'd asked you? Or anything else you want to share?
One thing that I can think of is I think some people have the idea that they have to have like a certain lifestyle or work schedule in order to foster. But there's so many different ages and types of animals that go out to foster and so many different needs. Like, sometimes we'll have an adult dog that just needs like a week, or a bottle baby that needs 8 weeks. So, it's a little bit all over the place. So, we have people that foster that work full time. We have people that foster who have kids and pets, and military families that are planning to move in the next year. College students that have their own apartment or housing that allows pets. So, kind of whatever you have going on in your schedule, as long as you have like some space in your home, a safe space for them to be, and some time every day to spend with them. Like there's a lot of flexibility with who can foster.
Yeah, I think that our foster program, or this SPCA, provides everything for our fosters as well. So that includes any supplies that they would need, any vaccinations that are required, spay and neuter surgery, any medical cases or situations that come up will be taken care of in-house at this shelter. So I think that is another thing that makes fostering easier, so that way they don't have to worry about taking on unnecessary expenses or, committing to something that can kind of spiral out of control. So yeah, it's a very flexible program where anyone can do it.
One more question, maybe it's a big one. What are your hopes for the future of animal welfare?
I think more spay and neuter. We're making that more accessible by doing our mobile clinics and low cost, clinic services as well. That would definitely help in peak season, where we're not seeing as many newborn animals from all unaltered, ferals or intact pets in their household that had accidental litters. So that would be ideal. And of course, the endless funds to care for as many animals as we can.
I want to thank you guys so much for your time and for your talents and for all that you do for this organization. It has been so much fun to talk to you, and thank you for all this great information.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for tuning in. For more information on our Foster Friends program, you can visit our website at spcamc.org/foster. We would love to hear from you. If you have questions for us, please email us at info@spcamc.org. Please put podcast question or something like that in that subject line so that question can be forwarded to me directly. You can find more information about all of our programs and services that we provide at the website www.spcamc.org. A tremendous thank you to all SPCA staff, volunteers, and board of directors, an incredibly supportive, compassionate, kind, and involved group of wonderful and talented people who work tirelessly and endlessly to care for the animals in our community. And a special, heartfelt thank you to our generous, loving supporters. We at SPCA Monterey County could not do what we do for the animals and people in our community without you. If you would like to support us, and that would be most appreciated, you can find that information at spcamc.org. If you are so inclined, please drop a like or give us a rating on whatever platform you listen in on. We strive to continue our reach far and wide, and those ratings definitely help. Dawn Fenton here, signing off until next time. Much unconditional love to you and your pets from us here at SPCA Monterey County.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.